other evening, Peter and I were sitting on the veranda with a cup of coffee. We weren't talking very much. After all these years together, silence isn't uncomfortable anymore. But while I watched him, something struck me. The man sitting beside me isn't the same man I married. I'm not the same woman either. We've both carry a few more grey hairs. We move a little differently. We think differently. We worry about different things. And it made me wonder. Nobody teach us how to grow older together. One thing Peter and I have discovered over the years is that we are not growing older in exactly the same way. If money were no object, I'd probably have a backpack packed already. I'd be hiking through Drakensberg the 1 month, exploring little villages in Europe the next, and planning the next adventure before I even unpacked my suitcase. Peter, on the other hand, has become wonderfully content at home. He loves his computer, he enjoys reading, solving problems, watching videos, and happily spending hours in his own world. We often laugh that if I suggest another hiking trail, Peter's first question is there Wi-Fi? 12 years ago, that difference might have frustrated me. Today, I see it differently. Growing older doesn't mean we stop loving each other. It means we are learning that two people can grow in different directions without growing apart. The challenge isn't becoming the same person. As I looked across at Peter that evening, he was smiling at something on his computer. I smiled too, not because we were doing the same thing, but because we learned we didn't have to do the same thing. That is one of the quiet gifts of growing older. Watching Peter reminded me of another season we had to learn together. I don't think either of us realized how much it would change the rhythm of our marriage. One of the biggest adjustments of many couples isn't aging itself, it is retirement. Suddenly, the person you used to wave goodbye to every morning is there every morning. The routines that work for 30 or 40 years disappear almost overnight. I think many couples secretly wonder, how are we going to make this work? Peter and I had to figure that out too. When I retired, Thrive quickly became much more than a hobby. Recording episodes, editing videos, writing articles, answering emails, planning interviews. Before long, our home had become my workplace. I realized very quickly that if we both try to work in the same space, we soon start getting in each other's way. So instead of becoming frustrated, we sat down and talked about it. We made a simple change. I took over the office. Peter moved his computer to our enclosed veranda where we have a large table overlooking the garden. That became his space. Some mornings I walk past with a cup of coffee and find him completely absorbed in what he is doing. I am busy recording an episode or editing a video in the office. We aren't sitting next to each other every minute of the day, but we are together. And I think that is one of the lessons retirement has taught us. Love doesn't mean doing everything together. Sometimes love means giving each other enough space to become the best version of yourself, while still knowing you'll meet for lunch, share a cup of coffee, and end the day talking about what you've both been doing. Retirement didn't make us less close. It simply invited us to design a new rhythm for this next chapter of life. And just as we settled into that new rhythm, life surprised us again. Because that is the thing about growing older. Just when you think you figured it out, another chapter begins. One thing nobody prepares you for is what happens when illness quietly enters a marriage. It doesn't arrive all at once. Sometimes it begins with a doctor's appointment, then another test, then another diagnosis. Suddenly, life isn't quite as simple as it used to be. Earlier this year, Peter has a back surgery. During all the medical investigations, the doctor discovered several underlying health problems that we hadn't fully understood before. One of them was that his body simply wasn't getting enough oxygen. That meant he tired more easily. Walking became harder. Things that at once seemed effortlessly suddenly required planning. I watched something else change too. Not just his health, but his independence. And I think that is one of the hardest adjustments, especially for many men. A man who has spent his whole life fixing things, carrying things, and looking after others doesn't suddenly stop wanting to do those things simply because his body has changed. His pride doesn't disappear. His determination doesn't disappear. Sometimes that is exactly where the frustration begins. Some evenings now, we will sit on the veranda with our coffee. Peter sometimes walks a little bit slower than he used to. I sometimes worry a little bit more than I used to. Neither of us ask for those changes, but there we are, sitting still together. Sitting there one evening, I realized something else. I don't actually know the man sitting beside me as well as I thought. Not because we've grown apart, but because he is still growing. One of the greatest surprises of growing older together is this. We never really finish getting to know each other. I think when we were young, we imagined that after 30 or 40 years of marriage, we'll know everything there is to know about the person beside us. But life has a way of changing us. Retirement changes us. Loss changes us. Good health changes us. Illness changes us. Becoming grandparents changes us. Losing parents changes us. Even discovering new passions changes us. Every season leaves its fingerprints on who we are. And if we are not careful, we keep expecting our partner to be the person they were 20 years ago. But they aren't. Neither are we. I've realized that growing older together required something that perhaps we don't talk about enough. Respect, grace, and curiosity. Respect says, I may not understand why you have changed, but I want to. Grace said, you don't have to be perfect for me to keep you loving. Curiosity says, tell me what life feels for you right now. I think those three things become more important every passing year. People often ask us what keeps a marriage strong. I don't think it is because we never argued. We certainly have. I don't think it's because life has been easy. It hasn't. Looking back, I think we simply remained friends. We still laugh. We still tease each other. We still tell each other about ordinary things that happened during the day. And perhaps friendships becomes even more important than romance as the years go by. Peter looked across at me and smiled. Nothing dramatic happened. No grand declaration of love. No life-changing conversation. Just two people sharing another ordinary evening. And that's when it struck me. Maybe extraordinary marriage aren't built by extraordinary moments. Maybe they are built by thousands of ordinary ones. When Peter and I eventually went inside that evening, I realized as I spent the whole time thinking about how much we've both changed. Then another thought came to me. Perhaps that isn't the real story. Perhaps the real story is that through all of those changes, we kept choosing each other. Growing older together isn't about trying to become the people we once were. It's about learning to love the people we are still becoming. Every wrinkle tells a story. Every scar reminds us we've survived. Every grey hair speaks of seasons we've shared. And perhaps the greatest privilege of growing older is not simply growing older. It is having someone beside you who remembers who you were, who accepts who you are now, and who is willing to discover who you are still becoming. Because that is what love really is. Not standing still together, but continually to grow side by side.